All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rice TVX and the latest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Today is the 10th of December, and this is Crypto Rewind. I am joined by my co-host, Satoshi Sean, and today's guest is Crypto Blood. Before we begin, a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVX, and you can find information below in the video description for Presearch, Monarch, and BitSwapDex.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
And we are currently live streaming on both Rice TVX and Rice TVX 2. That is the backup channel. Make sure you subscribe to both. Both can be found on YouTube. And make sure you follow me on Odyssey and Library. And you can also follow Satoshi Sean and Crypto Blood, both on Odyssey and Library as well. And in case you don't know, I am a big proponent of precious metals in addition to cryptocurrencies, and I partnered up with Money Metals Exchange. In case you don't know, you can get a free ½ ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer over at moneymetals.com. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's an additional way that you can support the channel. So you can buy a gift for somebody for Christmas. You would also get a free ½ ounce of silver, so a gift for yourself. And it supports Rice TVX, so 3 gifts in one. If you are looking to purchase and invest in precious metals, gold and silver are both good safe haven assets to hedge against the financial collapse we are experiencing. Check out Money Metals Exchange. I partnered up with them and you can get a free ½ ounce of silver. Visit moneymetals.com, be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel. All right, now I'm about to bring the guest into the show. Going to get rid of this thumbnail. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both these guys' channels if you're not already. And I want to real quick say congratulations to Mr. Satoshi Sean for crossing over 20,000 subscribers. So congratulations, Sean. Not sure if you're there. You turn your camera off. So yeah, there you are. Congratulations on hitting 20K, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks all y'all.
Yeah, so if you're not already subscribed, go and subscribe. And we're going to bring on our guest. He's been on the show plenty of times. No stranger to Rice TVX, no stranger to Crypto Rewind. We got Mr. Crypto Blood back in the house. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. But CB, how's it going, bro?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. Another day. It's cold. Actually, it's kind of warm in Michigan today, so I'm thankful for that. Not Miami weather like last week, right?
It was really nice in Miami. Me and you got to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed our time together.
Me too.
It was nice.
I was going to ask what warm is in Michigan.
Yeah, 50 degrees. Pretty warm.
I think we're sitting a little above that. It definitely doesn't feel as cold as it was yesterday. Yesterday was cold. It's actually 51 right here in
see, that's abnormally high for
we hit
Michigan.
80 yesterday.
Damn.
You're so close to the equator in Texas, man. That makes sense. It's like Miami is like 77 right now. So when you hit 80, they were probably hitting 80 as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
It was nice. It was like a breeze. It was a perfect day, dude. Perfect day.
That's awesome weather. The weather we had in Miami, I think, was just like perfect. During the daytime, it was like good short weather, like good wearing shorts. And evening time, it wasn't too hot for you to wear like some jeans or some pants or something.
Yeah, you'll be back down there this weekend, right?
Not Miami, but I'm going to St. Petersburg. Litecoin Lisa she's currently live streaming right now, but they're doing a meetup. Her and Clint Westwood are doing their happy hour meetup, and then that's on a Friday the 17th and the 18th. On Saturday they do like a little education course, and I've got my friend Pimpy from Pimpy's Investment Chat, my friend Stan from Bodhisattva Love, Jason, the Public Awakening, is going to be there. I'm trying to get my friend Eric Sullivan to come out, but I'm not going to get confirmation until next week. And Paulie P, a good friend of mine, is driving. So Snippy's supposed to be out there because he lives close to Tampa. And Tampa's only about 30 miles, 30 to 45 minutes away from Tampa, from St. Petersburg. So
gotcha. 52 in New York, that Willis said.
52 in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
global warming is awesome.
When I do these live streams with other people, sometimes it's hard for me to pay attention to what's going on in the chat, and Sean's really good about that. So both you guys already commented. Appreciate Andy Lee. Thanks for joining. Irish Me. Thanks for being here. W.V. Willis. Cindy Lou Baker. Kind of reminds me of Cindy Lou Who, since we're in the Christmas season. I keep thinking about, for whatever reason, Dr. Seuss. I guess it's the Grinch. I keep hearing all this Grinch
global
talk.
Warming. He said global warming is awesome. The problem with those people is that when it's cold, they blame it on global warming. When it's hot, they blame it on, like, we can't have both sides of the coin. Right. Come on now. Which one is it?
I feel you. Hey, definitely let me know, like, when you're ready to start doing some more live streams and you want to get me and or Sean. Let me know, because
it's getting cold out. I'm not as out during the weekends as I am during the summer. So you guys will be the first ones to join the live streams, off the chain episodes.
Yeah, I missed those.
Those are so fun. I know.
I just did a lot of traveling in such a short amount of time. Like, I was thinking about that Houston, Texas event at the beginning of January, but I'm not 100% sure. But I am doing a North American Bitcoin conference, like around the 17th and 18th, 19th, I think, of January in Miami. And then the Bitcoin 2022 and Shitcoin 2022. And then possibly consensus, but I want to try not to, because it really takes away from what I'm doing, and it really I mean, I'm sure with you saying you get back on track, it really throws me off of my routine. But I need to get a better mobile setup at the same time. I think if I had a better mobile setup, I might be able to function better on the road.
Yeah. What does that entail? Just like different equipment, you think?
Yeah, just so I don't have to tear down the stuff I have at the house and reset back up. So,
yeah,
like a new camera. I've already got like a travel mic, a couple different travel mics. So it's just a matter of setting something up. I'd like to have like
the lighting box is important as well. You know?
Yeah, it is. Like a little ring light or something. A couple of those, because a couple of the little ones can still amplify to a big one. Like right now, I've got my ring light off and just got some mood lights on around me. Because it's evening and I've been on a computer all day, and I've got my blue light glasses on to protect my sensitive old eyes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, guys, check me out though for sure. CryptoBlood.io, but YouTube, CryptoBlood, CBTV. Type in either
just
one.
Like Rice TV, Rice TVX, CBTV. Sean will be double SSTV. Sure, that'll go over well, Sean. You might get a whole bunch of new subscribers that you don't want. Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to really quickly brush through the first article I wanted to share. Was the last article that I shared with you guys. I figured we just kind of get.
Damn, man, I was muted. That SS really trips me up.
Doesn't it?
I my coin, I originally made my coin, and I like the lightning bolt S's, but someone already used those, so kind of can't use those together.
Was it a white flower coin?
No, it's a gold coin, but the SS lightning bolts on there. But it looked considerably like the Gestapo. So,
is that what you? Yeah, I think I'm using it on the thumbnail. Let me just double check that, because I think it's the top right of the thumbnail, and I'll throw it up.
It is. I saw that.
I never noticed it, but yeah, the SS.
You had to change the S.
You definitely need a lightning bolt through there.
When I made it, I was like, "Hey, use the lightning bolt S's," but no.
And he lives in Texas.
Yeah.
And he's got a bunch of guns behind him.
What does that have to do? I got some cool guns yesterday.
You're a collector.
It was, like I said, it was 80 degrees, man. I went to the gun shop, and there's all these deer. It's really weird. It's like surreal. It's in town, but it's just like valley where it's like a valley, and there's all these deer and turkey there, and they know they're in town, so they're not scared of shit. But there's a range, an indoor range, and I mean it's loud. People are like it'll make jar you if you're sitting in a car, and the deer are just walking around. It's like bam, 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 bam. They're just like looking, they'll walk up to you. But yeah, I went and got 2 shotguns and pet the deer, hung out. It's really nice. Nice day.
Well, I'm sure that you'll enjoy whenever it does take place, the very first ever John McAfee Memorial Conference. That's going to be a joint crypto, blockchain, and gun show. So I'm sure
you told me about that down in when we were in Miami. I'm
sure that Sean will enjoy that if and when it ever takes place. But yeah,
it'll have to happen in like Texas or somewhere. I was talking, Jason, the Public Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's illegal to own an Uzi in New Jersey.
It doesn't surprise me. They pretty much are trying to make like anything that would be considered like an assault rifle like unownable.
So my buddy owned an Uzi, a legal Uzi.
He owned it
legally, yeah. And I didn't know you could own Uzis. It was a semi-automatic Uzi.
You gotta have special. Sometimes you have to have special permits.
No, but it wasn't the automatic version.
The automatic version is fine, dude. Nothing's illegal except for poor people in the United States.
It's gun safety that people need to learn.
That's it.
I think that if they're going to teach, and it's not that we need to get on the subject, but if we're going to be teaching sex education, driving education, we need to teach gun education. But to go on and get into this news, Visa is launching crypto consulting services and push for mainstream adoption. I didn't really want to get too heavy into the article. I really just wanted to use this mainly to promote the fact that I offer crypto consulting. Why would you want to go through Visa through someone like myself? So, and I make it very inexpensive for people. So it's like $75 an hour, $50 for the half hour. I do group rates, and it's not financial advice. It's more of think like Geek SWAT for crypto, with understanding your security protocols, things that you need to make sure that you're keeping notation of, like your backup phrases and how to store your devices and such. So if you're interested, definitely consider it. Do you guys offer consulting services to individuals?
I don't, but it's people always come up to me asking, hey, what about crypto? I know you've been in it for 8 years.
I just do it free and like grumble a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah, I
don't see any reason why people like ourselves shouldn't add an extra stream of income by offering our knowledge. Because really what we're doing is, if people
want to know the coin that's going to make them rich. That's typically the consulting that I get approached.
I've been letting people up front know that's not the case. So most people are asking me like, what wallet should I use? And then I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to, when they come up and say, hey, what do I got to buy to get me rich? Then you could tell them, and they're like, how do I get it? And then what I got to do? Then you've got to go through all those steps for them to understand how to get on this one obscure, exchange, or how to connect to Uni or Pancake or whatever. They're like, I just got the Coinbase app. I just get it. No, you've got to get a MetaMask, and you've got to do this. And well, what is this? And this is what you have to own. Own your own keys. It's not like custodial with Coinbase. What's that mean? So you end up going through it all anyway.
I've got fatigue. I'm exhausted from doing that for so many years. I don't even do it anymore. Like I was an early evangelist and trying to get people to do it, and now I'm just like, I'll let someone else do it. Go to Rice. Matter of fact,
yeah, she said go to Rice.
Yeah, I'm gonna just refer all those people to you, bro.
It used to be because these people, like you said, we're early evangelists, and the people that said, oh, it's your silly internet money, it's stupid, it's a bubble, it's for criminals, not really talking down to you, but being kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And now when they come to you, you're like, oh, man.
I remember
I don't want to be that asshole that you were.
I know.
Well, but, a lot of people.
Oh, now you're coming. Now you see. Now that forget about it when it was $5,000. You want to buy it now when it's 50. That makes sense. You're a smart guy.
Well, I'm in that boat with you, but at the same time, I'm still trying to be compassionate towards newer people. So, and
but the newer, but the people that were like just hammering at you, and they're like, okay, you're a really smart guy. Okay, well, you can, pay
a lot of those guys
$50,000.
you don't even hear them now. And if you were to like mention it to them, they would somehow try to turn it around. Because ultimately they know, like, what we have been telling people for years has come to fruition, and it's changing people's lives. So I just, when we think about supporting local businesses and supporting mom and pops places, not just myself, but there's a lot of other people out there who are offering consultation services. So instead of going through a corporation, especially legacy finance through a credit card company, consider getting your consulting by somebody that a content creator that you like, an influencer, whatever the situation might be. But don't consider using Visa to give you crypto consulting. There's a lot better choices out there.
I just thought from that article, it was interesting that Visa had processed like $3.5 billion in transactions, crypto-related transactions.
Well, the Visa
over
card
a year.
Coinbase has a Visa logo, so that I mean they could include that in their equation.
Of course, they are, and they get what 3.5%.
BitPay, they got a Visa logo. Pretty much all these crypto credit cards all have Visa logos. I'm even hearing now, and this is dangerous. We'll probably talk about this more like future episodes, but there's going to be a credit card coming out through Ledger partnering up with banks. So you can actually use your crypto from your Ledger. The only problem with that is your Ledger is like really private, and you're not.
Yeah, that just seems
a lot of people don't have that information. So by you plugging it into a credit card, you've just KYC'd your holdings.
Yeah.
So,
well, true, but remember, a year and a half ago, I think you remember this, Rice, but there was some information that leaked about the terms of service with Ledger and these hardware wallets, where they're in the terms of service, you are allowing them to track your locations when you plug in. So they're they may not have your first name, last name, et cetera, but they are tracking you through your Ledger.
Get a lot more pieces of the picture.
We definitely need to have some better hardware wallets. I would like to have like a Ledger type solution that doesn't have a GPS or any sort of location device or any sort of surveillance.
Because how they're doing it, Rice, is when you go to authenticate through their system, through their software, is when they're getting their information.
Right, through their Ledger Live app.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, and then they could correlate with chain analysis, your location, your IP, and blah blah.
Big data. They got so many data points. They don't even need. They know who you are without even asking you for your first name, last name, and so on and so forth. So it's crazy.
Mr. X, I have every single system since Intellivision. Some multiple.
Nice. Well, moving on to the next article. If anybody is catching me from BitBoy Crypto today, I won around the blockchain. So after I was done, asking people to go check out my channel and all that good stuff, to head over to freeross.org and sign a petition to help Ross get clemency, because he's facing life in prison, never getting out for nonviolent crimes under the age of 30, with having a clean record as far as I'm aware. And so while we were in Miami, there was the start of this auction where they were going to be debuting some NFTs that were going to be partially from artwork that was created from prison and other sources. When I first mentioned this to Bozak was like, and it makes sense what I'm reading here in the title, but Bozak was, you can't sell, you can't send pictures out from jail and sell them. It's apparently it's illegal. and this is something that I did look into a little bit. So like, because you're kind of property of the government, so you really can't be profiting in those senses. So people who are writing books in prison, they don't make the money until after they get out and they publish.
No, that's not true.
Well, there was something.
You can't profit from the crime. So, but you can profit from other stuff. But unless this is connected to the actual crime, like writing a story, your memoir or something like that, that's profiting from the crime. You could argue that you're only there in prison because of the crime. So anything connected with that, but that would have to be like
right. Well, they got around it all by having the Free Ross DAO, which bought the artwork and the things that were going to be auctioned off. So it kind of took them out of the equation. But I think it's really cool that they're utilizing NFTs and some of the artwork from Ross to be able to raise funds to help bring awareness to everything that's going on to advance prison reform. And it did say here it kicked off at Art Basel Miami via the Super Rare platform. And the very first NFT sold for $6.2 million in auction, which was this particular drawing from Ross.
Which cool the DAO bought, correct?
Yes. So the DAO was able to purchase, let me see where it says it in the article. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think the Free Ross DAO.
The Free Ross DAO plans to fractionalize the NFT into Ross governance tokens and distribute them pro rata in return for donation contributions. Ross holders will be able to vote on proposals and participate in the guidance of the Free Ross DAO. It just said it at the very beginning of the article where it states the Free Ross DAO buys Silk Road founders NFT created from prison.
Yeah.
Okay, I read that wrong. Free Ross DAO buys the Silk Road founders NFT created from prison and auctioned off via Super Rare. I thought it was at first.
Yeah, I mean that's neat. More money the better, I guess. You know, and defending and trying to get this guy out, man. His mother's been
his mother's devoting her entire life to it. So it's not like she could go and work a job. She's older. You know, I think she's living in Miami now, but she was pretty much staying where Ross was staying in prison so she could visit him on a regular. But I think they have been moving him around and such. So it's really good to see that they're bringing some funds to this. So they're trying to, because ultimately it would help with bringing more awareness to the whole situation. I mean, we're not going to see like any positive things coming out of the Biden administration when it comes to Silk Road and Ross Ulbricht.
Right.
A lot of people were pushing for that at the end of Trump's terms when he starts to pardon people. So I just, as much as possible, because if you really talk to some of the OGs of Bitcoin, they'll tell you very, very frankly that if it wasn't for Silk Road, we probably wouldn't have Bitcoin having the longevity it has today, that it really gave early use case for it. It may not have always been in positive light, but it was giving early use case, which is why a lot of the OGs are very supportive of Lynn. And I'm going to re-release my interview with Lynn Ulbricht during the Christmas time period when I'm doing my Rice Rewind videos. So I definitely encourage people to check out the interview that I did with his mother. She's really good people. You guys have anything you want to add, though, to the Free Ross stuff, Sean? Anything?
No, I wish that Trump would have just, done those three people, man. Ross,
Julian,
John, Julian. Yeah, those. And I understand why he didn't, but it was kind of cowardly and bullshit. Like he was trying to.
He pardoned a couple of rappers, didn't he? Didn't he pardon Lil Wayne?
He can pardon people, but those people specifically angered the deep state. Like that's Assange pissed off the military-industrial complex and the intelligence community.
Yeah, I did.
And true, Trump was like, I know you guys are bad, and I don't like you guys too, but to pardon them would be like being overt and definitely making them a big enemy, which they already were. It's like trying to make a deal with the devil. It's like trying to play good with a snake. it's going to bite you, dude. It's just the way it is.
I definitely thought he should have pardoned Julian Assange.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I think the Ulbricht thing probably would have been a stretch because
that's law enforcement. See, that would piss off law enforcement.
It would, but he's still part of the current monetary Ponzi scheme, right? He benefits from the dollar being what it is and fiat currencies being in circulation and being the prominent use for as a medium of exchange. So I just, and people were all shocked that he came out with the tweets against Bitcoin. No, not at all. Like, he's made his millions and billions from the financialization of Wall Street and fiat currencies and leveraging and all of that stuff. So I don't, Bitcoin is not something that he would support, or cryptos, in my opinion. He likes the current system.
A lot of people do. And if you're a president too, I mean, unless you're a really radical president, and that's the reason why you got elected, you have to, in a sense, support the US dollar. And
right.
And exactly. That kind of goes against Bitcoin. So it's in that sense, you'd have to choose sides. And because when you see, even with El Salvador, I mean, it's like they chose a side. Because now they have their little repercussions that are dealing with the IMF. Like, oh, we're not going to give you funding.
What do you think about the whole El Salvador thing and that president? He's not like a nice guy.
Well, I mean, they don't talk about the fact that they don't talk about the fact that El Salvador is like per capita the highest crime murder rate.
Well, yeah, I had this conversation with someone the other night. I actually researched it. It's San Salvador, I think it is. The city is like number 14th on the list of most violent cities.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's...
Yeah, it used to be number 1, so they are coming down.
But they're improving. It's not the best representation we want for a sovereign nation state to adopt a cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. I mean, it would have been much nicer if it would have just been a nation with kind of a cleaner slate.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
I mean, it'd be like if Cuba announced it. I mean, are we going to be like super happy about that?
Yeah, I think so, because if something is bad and Bitcoin helps to fix it, that's even better than something that was already working and it just got utilized. I mean, if Bitcoin can help fix a lot of the wrongs and can help pull Cuba out of communism and into more of a free market,
if that's the goal, that's different. Yeah, but
that's a much bigger win.
That, the way you explained it, yes, but just in general, no. So I mean, I just think that if they weren't going to try to have a political change and they were just adopting Bitcoin, which doesn't make any sense as a communist nation anyways, but it's just, it would be nice to see like a nation that doesn't have this kind of baggage, doesn't have a president that looks more like a dictator, such a high crime rate, because they're already associating Bitcoin with crime and all that already. So it just kind of adds.
I just think it's, I don't know how many Americans and other citizens from across the globe, how many of them are moving down there. They're going to get down there and it's going to be a rude awakening. A lot of them are going to be targeted.
I think maybe me and you were talking about Mexico. I was talking about it with somebody else of it being kind of a honeypot. And it's possible El Salvador could be in the same situation because you have these wealthy crypto people moving down, and then they're going to be, they thinking they're in one of the freer places in the world, but you're just being set up so you can be basically robbed of everything that you own.
Yeah, it's something to think about. I'm not saying that in practice or in theory they did a great thing. El Salvador, that's the right move, right?
And it may ultimately improve their country. I mean, it could help them to get, because a lot of the stuff could have been, I have no clue, but it could ultimately, I don't know how cryptocurrency alone could just get rid of a crime rate, but hopefully it will.
Yeah, that's a stretch. That may be a stretch,
right?
To think to connect that dot. but we do know.
Well, I
maybe
mean,
as a nation has more
say
money
and argue, and there's data to prove it that high crime comes from poverty.
Yes.
So if you help to eliminate that, which what they're doing with Bitcoin will do, and getting money and the ability to transact into the hands of everyone in the country, that's going to improve poverty overall.
Right, especially if you're dropping Bitcoin in everybody's wallet.
Yeah, which they're doing, and it's like 30. I think it's like $35, which that's not a ton to us, but that's like a big amount of money, in a lot of South American countries. That's going to improve people's people's way of life, and it might make the difference. And then if you add to that, people looking at crypto, people looking down the rabbit hole, and then finding like GameFi. I mean, then you've got a whole nother world that opens up to people that had no idea.
Right,
people that had to get a wallet.
We talked about how that's changing people's lives.
They had to get a wallet. They had to learn to use crypto. That opens up shit that they never knew about. And then you're looking at DeFi and GameFi, and that really improving people's lives, really making a huge dent in poverty and in the economic futures of everyone. So I think it's
airdrops. Step. It's the first step for sure. But to change poverty, you have to change infrastructurally. You have to change the system, right? You have to create more jobs and more industries for people to have commerce. So that money needs to flow around and circulate. And we'll see if this helps. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say it is. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm kind of indecisive about it.
Well, maybe some of these other nations, though, that are thinking about it, looking at some of the progress that El Salvador is able to make by improving the infrastructure of their country, by investing U.S. dollars and increasing the amount of U.S. dollars they have so that they can actually be able to do more with that. I mean, maybe they'll increase possibly the policing. Maybe they will get a better hold on some of this crime going on. So there's a lot of interesting potentials. But even with the Bitcoin price and everything still being down for all the various reasons, I did want to notate that Bitcoin hash rate has hit all-time highs, which is good to see. That it's risen.
This is good. This is really good because it dipped because of all of the concentrated hash power in China. So seeing that it recovered from that and has basically taken out previous all-time highs,
been strong, making it stronger.
That lets me know that we've now decentralized the hash power, right, a bit more in the network, which was a concern of mine. I think it was over 51% of hash power was concentrated within China proper. So
I think it was up to like we didn't know for sure, but it was also up to like 60 something.
Yeah, you're right.
High.
Like you're saying, it's back to where it was, even higher at a decentralized, much more decentralized way. So it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. It is, and usually, like back in like 2017, something like this would have really affected the markets. But just considering all the fear narrative being put out with the Omicron variant, the job reports, the uncertainty of our economic climate, it's like, and then completely taking advantage of liquidating all of those different positions. It's like the second highest liquidation this year is what I was reading.
What was
last week we talked about it during when we had that big drop. So we started dropping down from like 57 to 52 with the Omicron news, and then while we were in Miami on Friday night, Saturday day, the U.S. jobs reports came out, and then all these I think it was a combination of longs and shorts. I'm not 100% sure, but it was just the second highest liquidation.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I have to take out a lot of positions.
I have to remind people, and we're so jaded by this point that Bitcoin and cryptos are risk-on assets. They are not a flight to safety when shit hits the fan globally. Now, will that be the case maybe 5 years, 10 years from now? Maybe. But people need to understand when with the assets they hold, crypto assets they hold in their portfolio, it's not a hedge against panic, crisis, and whatever within the global.
No, but now with the volatility. So I mean, that's why things like gold and silver have kind of proven themselves.
Gold and silver are better, but even that, to me, is still a risk on asset if you look at it from just the numbers. I mean, we don't want to say this, but honestly, bro, like cash is a risk off. Cash is your risk off asset.
Is that it?
Bonds can be, but that's been so perverted because of the what the Fed has been doing. So bonds have been going the same direction as equities. It used to be a negative correlation with the two, but I guess bonds, but cash for sure. So when stuff hits the fan, people go to cash. Then they'll come back into those riskier assets.
Yeah, I mean, like in March of 2020, everything got hit. But gold and silver didn't get hit as hard as the other things got hit. People went to silver, then people started going back into like your safe haven assets, which are your gold and silvers, and they started leveling back out. I mean, it's not like you don't invest in gold and silver to increase your wealth. You do it to try to keep your wealth, to maintain, so you don't lose that purchasing power that you're losing by holding dollars in a bank account.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I'm still one of those believers that we're heading back to $20,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk with you more about something like that. When I get back from Florida, I may still do like a video or two, so I'll get in touch with you about that.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not probably going to be able to cover the last thing, which was going to be dealing with the different CEOs going in front of lawmakers. There's been a lot of crypto channels covering that, so I want to make sure we're giving a little bit of attention to this Craig Wright story, and then a lot more attention to Reggie Middleton and Veritaseum.
Yeah.
So Craig Wright, and this is something that I found interesting, is while we were in Miami, I think me and you talked about this, but this court case was going on at the same time in Miami.
Yeah, it sure was.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Exactly.
If I would have been there longer or knew about it, I may have tried to actually gone to the court case itself. But there's a lot of people coming out on Twitter and different social media platforms, like now trying to claim that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, I just want to specify, and I want to kind of hand it over to you here in a minute, Blood, because you did a video on it. But just like this, because this article from CoinGeek, which are very pro Bitcoin SV, says that creator Craig Wright is 100% Satoshi Nakamoto. Says the Kleiman versus Wright jury.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
That's crazy.
And like the only thing he got out of this was they were suing him for billions of dollars, and instead of having to pay billions of dollars, he's got to pay $100 million. So, I mean, if you want to call that a victory,
so crazy that how they spun that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's CoinGeek, which is very much associated with BSV. That's why if you see the ad right here,
yeah,
BSV.
Yeah, it actually in the court case, like it explicitly stated that the jury did not decide. It was no discussion about whether or not he was Satoshi Nakamoto. It was whether or not those monies, those coins, which we don't even know if he has the private keys to. That's
right, because he still hasn't moved nothing, signed nothing, nada. The coins
that was never determined in the case, whether he has the actual control over the private keys, and nor did the jury debate or deliberate over whether or not he's Satoshi Nakamoto. That wasn't even brought up. So that's crazy that they even did that.
Well, obviously that's exactly what we see happening in the news. We don't see any news that's impartial or fair.
No,
every news outlet is going to spin things in the direction of the shareholders or the owner of the publication. Unfortunately,
yeah, that's bugged me a lot. I've noticed that over the past couple of weeks that there's no news anymore. Mm-hmm. Everything is an opinion. Mm-hmm. It's before it was you had an anchor who gave you the news. And now you have someone who's like, hey, this is what happened, and this is what I think about it. Not just, this is what happened. That's it,
It's crazy,
I miss those days.
Yeah, well, it's like when I met, I was telling CB about this, too, when I met Vincent Fusca, the guy that everybody tries to claim as JFK Jr., he told me that I reminded him of Walter Cronkite. And that's kind of your last bit of journalism and impartialness. Like he was part of that. And we don't have those kind of figures. Even myself, in some cases, I'm still kind of like, even with this, I'm pushing my opinion in it. You know, I mean, we're all pushing our opinions. We're not really being fair to Craig Wright here, but he doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, deserve to have fairness.
How are we not being fair, Rice?
Well, I mean, we're judging. We're kind of already.
No, we're going off of what the case said. It didn't say anything about him being Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right. No, it didn't.
That's the thing, dude. We're not journalists. We're commentators. Straight up.
Well, I try to play a journalistic role in some of the approaches that I do, but I just don't want people to be confused that hat can be taken on and off.
I know that, and I said this in my video, right? It's like, I know because of the type of person he is, Craig Wright, Craig Wrong is what I call him, Craig Wrong. Right. And this has nothing to do about regarding BSV. I'm not saying that BSV is a bad token at all. I'm talking about the man, but he's going to use this PR and leverage it. That's just how he does. It's crazy, bro.
No, 100%. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, while we have new people in the space, people need to be reminded of the things that we were taught or that I was learning when I was coming up in crypto, because it really seems like some of the ideals that we represent are dying ideas in the crypto space, because it seems like the newer breed of people that are coming into crypto are coming in because of the profits people have made from like your Doge and your Shibas and things like that.
It started in 17. Like,
yeah, but it feels like it's gotten completely worse. I mean,
it's gotten absolutely worse.
Like, that's why we're care about decentralization. Now everybody's like cool with Solana, which, you know, if you could turn off your blockchain and still call yourself decentralized and still be able to be, you know, having the price of your coin going up, it's just another disconnect from reality.
Well, price and decentralization aren't. We shouldn't conflate those two.
No, but they're advertising that they are a decentralized blockchain, and what decentralized blockchain can just really turn itself off. I mean, I still always try to remind people of what happened with the Ethereum hard fork.
Well, here's the thing about typically how blockchains work. They go from, if they have an end goal to be decentralized, they normally go from centralized, and they grow out into a decentralized fashion or state. So, you know, even Bitcoin was centralized in the first 4 days.
Yeah, but I think a lot of
projects
as an excuse.
Huh?
I've been part of some. You know, they're like, well, right now we're kind of centralized, but we're going to eventually, and they, you know, it's not
right. If you don't start off decentralized, usually in most cases you're not going to do what Eric Voorhees did, and
I've been on projects where we were told that certain things had happened, and then we had to go and investigate and found out we were lied to. And then
I mean, of course they're gonna definitely use that as a guise, right? But typically you can't, like, I don't know any. And maybe you guys know of a blockchain that came out the gate fully decentralized, that has grown. Like, you gotta have that initial nurturing, when to grow and then become more decentralized.
This may not be a great example, but I want to say when Ravencoin first launched, it was a fair launch and it was proof of work.
Mm-hmm. Or when a main
and they were public,
decentralized by then,
and they were public about their launch, so people could have mined right out the gate. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, a project that doesn't have a pre-mine, that's launching fair launch with a proof of work, and they give people heads up they're doing it to me, that's as fair as you can get.
Yeah, like Kyle is saying, Ethereum is actually still very centralized in many ways, you know.
No, it is.
Nano, I guess Nano, yeah.
When we look at the Ethereum hard fork, and the fact that the reason that they were able to do this the hard fork happen was because they wanted to roll back the blockchain to correct a bug where people got ripped off. It should have been. They just chalked it up as a
because
loss.
I'm a fan of HBAR, Hedera. Like that's a great. It's not a blockchain. It's a hash graph.
It's a distributed ledger.
Right. It's a distributed ledger. They started off very centralized, and they're expanding their nodes and who can be a provider, a node validator, or whatnot. And they plan to get to X amount of thousands of, companies that are node validating. So it just depends, man. I think Solana is on its way to be more decentralized.
Well, you got to look at the requirements for running a node, because and then anybody can run a node, yes, but are you going to have enough stake to be able to validate a block?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really designed for institutions. So it's unless you have like $10 million in tokens staked,
mm-hmm.
then you're not going to. So, I mean, to me, that shows the centralization factor, because it's only limited to who can participate, which is a lot of times the legacy systems. And I don't have a problem with centralization if there's a time and a place for it, because obviously if
they say that there's elements of their code that are not open source, just for right now, until we can become fully centralized. That's another thing. You're controlling, who can run a node, because this is proprietary or a worker. There's always excuses, and corruption. Power corrupts, man. And I think if 100%. Someone launches their mainnet, if they're like, here we've run, we've had alpha, we've had beta, mainnet launch, it should be decentralized at that time, or else I don't think you can trust them.
I think we should.
My opinion.
I think this is a perfect segue before we hit this Reggie one, the DYDX centralization.
Yeah, I was gonna pull. I mean, I had so many stories. Obviously we couldn't even get through the ones that I had, but the DYDX is pretty interesting because they were using Amazon Web Services cloud computing to store their application and data, and when there was a power outage or issues with AWS, it affected the exchange, which is supposed to be a decentralized exchange, a DEX. But I don't think a lot of the DEXs are really DEXs. That's why I think that you're going to see a lot of SEC going after these decentralized exchanges, because they're using. It's almost like when we saw in 2017 some of these companies going public or listing blockchain in their name when they had nothing to do with blockchain.
Right.
So it's almost similar to that effect.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Cindy Lou asked about why cryptos are tanking. Is it because of Evergrande? I actually don't think it's because of Evergrande. Evergrande is really a China problem. Most of the exposure.
BlackRock, Vanguard, a lot of these institutes were invested into Evergrande, so
very small. Most of your exposure was from Chinese companies.
And when we first heard the news is when I think we got the biggest hit from it. And
I think that's priced in for the most part, right?
Once we heard the news, people already kind of figured it was going to default.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's kind of hard not to realize they were going to default, especially when they kept missing payments or being late on payments.
Exactly.
And then China did their sideways bailout by not bailing them out directly, but giving money to the banks that they had to repay back to China. Man. So just like Jack Ma lost, what was his? Alibaba.
Jack Ma, Alibaba.
He lost Alibaba. Group. Chinese government just took it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that's ours now. Thank you. It's very crazy. Very crazy. Now, this article, I haven't had a lot of time to really look into this, so I was hoping that you would know a little bit more about this, CB.
This is interesting because I saw the token spike crazily. Yeah. Like it's doing very well.
It's up like 50% at least, or it was
more than that. But I think people are still mistaken about what this token doesn't have anything to do with his patent. He can't, by law, use this token.
Not the Veritaseum token, no.
Not the Veritaseum token. He can't use it.
He can't use it in the peer-to-peer capital market
kind
of sense. I mean, I think the token can be utilized in other capacities, but there's no other use case for it. Because I think he still does like the very gold, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he can't deal with that token. He's been banned and barred from it's just interesting because he can't, from the court documents, he can't do anything crypto related.
Period.
Which is interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
I thought it was just the Veritaseum technology he had, and I know that there was, unfortunately, a lot of the cases sealed. Yeah, he made agreements to not give out.
He made agreements to not talk about it for sure, but the documents are there. The whole case is 100%. There. Yeah, but the thing is, this is interesting because he now has a patent on essentially DeFi, right? So, I mean, how is he going to defend it? You know, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, because I don't know how this is really defensible. Like, he has it for sure, but now the step further from having a patent is to protect your patent. And I don't know.
If you can't get involved in the space, how do you protect your patent?
No, I'm saying in court, you can protect your patent in court.
Right.
You can sue people, or they have to, pay you, or they have to give you a license.
So Reggie can try to take out some of these dexes so that the SEC doesn't have to do it for them?
I don't know.
Because
a true dex is not owned by.
That's what we were talking about that on. I think on True Wednesday or on True Tuesday on Lisa. On Lisa's channel, that I said, if there's true decentralization, there's no way to enforce anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is.
What I didn't understand, and again, this is me not getting into it, was the Aboriginal DeFi patent. Like, why is it called an Aboriginal DeFi patent?
Because the patent was originally it was patent for peer-to-peer cashless. Let me see if I still have that.
Peer-to-peer capital markets, but
yeah, which is essentially
by
DeFi.
Its moniker, which is DeFi.
Yeah,
but it would. I mean, but he didn't really technically come up with the term DeFi. It was just he came up with the concept,
Aboriginal term, which is peer-to-peer or whatever you just said.
Capital markets.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the original term for what DeFi is.
DeFi is essentially today. So he has pretty much a patent on that concept, which should cover DeFi as well.
And it's just for the United States and Japan, though, right?
Yeah. So again, how many DeFi projects are in
there?
The States and Japan?
Yeah. So if you're smart, you wouldn't be in the States at all.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's a win, but it looks like a win on paper, not necessarily something tangible. We'll have to see. It's going to be tough. A lot of money. You got to have deep pockets to defend your patents.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he had to repay a bunch of money too, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to pay $2 million, and then they had to take. They took the rest of the tokens. So I think there were like 90 something million tokens, and there are still maybe about 2 million floating that were already in circulation on the various dexes or whatnot. But it's just going to be interesting. I mean, again, people are correlating this to and buying the token up, but the token is pretty much defunct. There's no you can't use it. But
right.
Reggie has been he's a genius, man. He's been ahead of the curve. And it really started with Ultracoin was the coin that I think he ended up doing the patent
first.
Yeah. And then he changed it to Veritaseum.
Okay.
When it got to Ethereum, he was trying to do this model on Bitcoin network and was just bumping his head. He couldn't get. You can't do these types of computations and
wonder if he was
smart
trying to use
contracts
like
on
counterparty
Bitcoin.
And create like a token, like a colored coin, and that's what the original one that you're talking about was. And then he just ended up creating what Veritaseum is.
Yeah,
but Veritaseum was an ERC20 token, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an Ethereum. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting, man, because it sucks, man, because it's like he definitely didn't have the first mover advantage. It's more like when you hear about innovations, it's like the first that goes to the door is the one that takes all the bullets. That's
in tech. That's what happens. First mover advantage in tech is typically not the winner.
Right.
It's just how it is in tech. In other industries, it can be an advantage to you, but yeah, man.
I mean, it really was such an awesome idea, and I know like he had the sad thing about this was like he had apparently went before the SEC, had lots of communication with them before like they had taking
he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, he was trying to play ball.
But you know,
this was too disruptive when you think about it.
It's a number of variables that played into that.
Because basically what he was trying to do...
He's also a chocolate face, so that's a layer of...
Yeah, that's a chocolate face. What happened to Sean?
I don't know.
Did the chocolate face scare him away, or was he gone?
No, he left before that.
He might have texted me.
No, but you know, I don't know, man. I don't know what Reggie's gonna do, because again, I went through that legal documentation and it said that he cannot touch cryptos, have any relations with that, and it's going to be interesting how he...
Yeah, it will be.
I'm really sure. I mean, you can have another I don't know. You can get around it, of course, right? He'll have to not. He can't be the person.
He couldn't be directly involved, no.
Right.
But I mean, we could clone Veritaseum.
Right. Right.
But I don't know how that works. I mean, did he leave the code? Was it open source?
No, a lot of his work wasn't open source.
If he's trying to have intellectual patents, he wouldn't have it be open source. It would make sense.
Well, you can see in patents, you can do like what's called a method patent, and a method patent is you're patenting a concept,
okay,
right? a technological concept, and I think that's what he had, was a method patent on basically what we
kind of the
know
idea
now,
without,
DeFi.
Right, with the idea of it without actually spelling it out. I get what you're saying. Well, I'm not sure if Sean's going to rejoin. If he does, I'll just I'll throw him back in. But we're going to usually we try to keep this to an hour, and I've got a little bit of a hard stop. So before we wrap up, man, I definitely want to encourage people to go over and check out your YouTube channel, check out cryptoblood.io. But anything you want to share before we wrap up?
Check out EOS Detroit as well. EOSDetroit.io. That's the company I'm managing, executive director of. We do a lot of blockchain development, very active on a lot of the EOS.io blockchains that you know about. Wax, EOS, of course, not doing as well. It's a lot of shakeup. We had to talk about that, what's going on with the EOS community. But EOS.io is prevalent, and Wax is the #1 blockchain, active blockchain in the game. It's been like that for over a year and a half or two. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, we're doing a lot of great things over there, man. So check me out. YouTube, if you guys need any development or consulting, check us out at EOSDetroit.io.
Sweet. I'll definitely include that in the link down below. So make sure you guys are checking out the links. And always stay tuned, because me and CB do lots of content together. So
yeah, we're gonna do more, ladies and gents. So stay tuned, man. We love having
tons of videos that we've done together. So yeah, I mean, with on Beyond Mystic, when we were doing the roundtables with Lisa and JP.
Yeah,
you come on your show, you come on my show. So yeah, dude, it's definitely no stranger, and I always enjoy doing conversation, enjoying doing these videos and having conversations.
I'm gonna try to catch up with you after the new year. I know, we got a lot of conferences coming up in Miami, so I'll catch you.
Okay,
we'll link up down there for sure.
Sounds good, man. All right, brother. Well, I will be in touch with you. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Right. Thanks again, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure what happened to Satoshi Sean, but let me go ahead and throw up his YouTube channel. We were able to help him cross over 20,000 subscribers, so I greatly appreciate everybody for going over there. So if you're not already subscribed to Satoshi Sean's channel, go over there and subscribe, as well as subscribing to Crypto Blood's channel. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you're subscribed to Rice TVX, and also the backup channel, Rice TVX 2. I'm going to be taking a couple of clips. I'm going to make a couple clips this evening from my appearance on BitBoy Crypto, because I was on fire, spitting fire with a lot of things I was talking about, and I'm going to share those on Rice TVX 2 and also share those over on Odyssey and Library. I'm trying to post up extra content over there. If you want to support what I do directly, you can check out my Patreon channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. You can always support the channel with the information that's scrolling across here on the bottom that you see. If you'd like to support the channel directly, it'd be greatly appreciated. Lots of things going to be in store for 2022. So after I get back from Florida, there's going to be a couple new videos coming out, and then the rest of the year I'm going to be re-releasing old interviews as Rice Rewind series. I'm going to take all 7 of my interviews with John McAfee and the speech that he did for a conference that I attended, and put those in one video. And I'm going to be taking interviews such as my interview with Lynn Ulbricht, G. Edward Griffin, other interviews that I'm just going to kind of leave as a surprise, but they're previous interviews. A lot of people don't explore my channel, even though I encourage people to always explore my channel. A lot of people don't. If you were to go to my playlist section, and I'll just show people really quickly over on Rice TVX, go to my playlist section, and then you would click on, well, sometimes you have to see a full list, but I think I've already clicked on that. So you'll see these various playlists. The playlist that is called High Pro, I'm trying to find it. It's here somewhere. I got lots of playlists. So High Pro is all my high profile interviews. I also have like all the crypto rewinds in a playlist. I have freedom fighters and freedom advocates, something to that effect. Here's the high profile playlist. Just to kind of give you a little bit of an example of some of the people that are in these interviews: Kim Gogan, Mark Passio, Max Egan, Charles Hodgkinson from Cardano, Brock Pierce. Let's see here. So many interviews. G. Edward Griffin, Hotep Jesus, the CEO of Atari, Charlie Lee, who is the creator of Litecoin, his brother Bobby Lee. So Kyle Kemper, who is Justin Trudeau's brother, good friend of mine, Lynette Zhang, Roger Ver, Andreas Antonopoulos. This is one of my favorite interviews with Dmitry Buterin. He is the grandfather of Ethereum. He is the father of Vitalik Buterin. Dmitry Buterin. Did an awesome interview with him. He is an anarchist, very outspoken against the system and not being one that bows down to a master or ruler. And here's an interview with Lynn Ulbricht, the mother of Ross Ulbricht. Jeff Berwick I interviewed, Adam Kokesh several times. So be sure to explore my channel. Max Kaiser. The list goes on and on with all the various people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing. Cyrus A. Parsa, Colin Cantrell from Nexus, his father, Jim Cantrell, one of the co-founders of SpaceX, Ammon Bundy, George Gammon. So Bernard von Nothaus, Cliff High, Derek Bros from Global Witness. So, I mean, the list just keeps going on and on and on. So, but I'm not going to be re-releasing any interviews from 2021. It's all going to be interviews from 2020 and before. Started the channel in January of 2018 and had the honor and privilege of being able to interview a lot of great people. So I really appreciate Andy. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was really given a little bit of a history lesson about the IMF, what the IMF is. We talked about the IMF calling for a regulation and more insight into cryptocurrencies. And also there was a topic of Facebook admitting to fact checking and censorship. And I was talking a little bit about that. So if you haven't seen that episode on BitBoy Crypto, be sure to check it out. I will take clips and I will be sharing the episode on Odyssey and Library. On Odyssey and Library, I will share this again real quick, and then we're going to bounce off today's stream. But over on Odyssey and Library, I can actually share old videos of mine. I can repost it. I can repost other people's videos. So this was taken right here from BitBoy Crypto, Metaverse, greatest impact on society. The world is changing. This was taken from the very first only ever live episode of Around the Blockchain. And we got to do that in Miami at DecentralCon. So you can check that out. It was me, Crypto Blood, Mind Your Biz, Hack Crypto, BitBoy, and hosted by Ruthless J, aka J Chains. So, and I also got extra footage that I put over here, extra videos that I put up over on Odyssey and Library that sometimes you'll find on Rice TVX too, like these Freedom Spotlights or my Grown Up Talks. So be sure to make sure you're following me on all my social medias. Actually, what I will do to end today's video is I will play my full commercial that I put together about all my advertisements, about subscribing on all my socials, signing up for my mailing list, supporting me on Patreon, etc., including my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Again, if you haven't taken advantage, you get a free ½ ounce of silver. All you need to do is go to moneymetals.com, be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. So we're going to end the video with this, And actually, I meant to say this. Let me pull Sean. Sean just popped back in. Sean, I want to end this thing real quick, but I meant to tell you this earlier.
And there are only 2. And then there were 2.
Well, yeah, there was just one.
Yeah, I know. My power went out.
I'm sure that's what happened, but I can only imagine what happened. I think I have a good idea, but it's okay. We're going to leave it at that. Because of my traveling, because the next few Fridays, this is going to be our last crypto rewind of 2021.
Really?
Unless somehow it's not too noisy at Lisa's meetup and I can plug you into the video, it's good. Yeah, because otherwise we have Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve on Fridays. So, yeah.
Yeah, you have too much of a life to do a stream.
Well, on Christmas Eve, yeah. Christmas Eve at 7 o'clock at night, yeah, 100%. And same thing for New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, I'm planning on having a good New Year's Eve, and I plan on being obliterated. That's the plan. Obliterated, because I've been really good. Trying not to. Even in Miami, I only had one night of really getting
obliteration.
Yeah. I
don't know. Past 3 New Year's Eves, I've kissed the dog at 12. So
how sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so apparently JC from Beyond Mystic is live, and we are going to end. So Sean, I appreciate, man. I was going to throw up this my ad and then just end the video. So I'll be in touch with you. I'll probably text you tomorrow.
Or we could talk, after.
No, I can't talk tonight.
Really?
No, because I have plans.
Like I said, dude, you have a life.
I've had commitments of things because of me going out of town, so I have some shit that I gotta do.
Yeah, you've been out and running around. Yeah. I love you, man.
I love you too. I'll be in touch, man. I told everybody to go subscribe to your channel, and I promoted everything for you as well.
All right, buddy.
I love you, man.
Love you too. Take care, man.
Much love. Before we get into it, make sure you visit ricetvx.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Rice TVX content. Plus, you can find my social media links, contact information, get Rice TVX merch coming soon via the shop, and more. If this is your first time ever watching any of my videos, check out and explore my channels. Make sure you subscribe to Rice TVX and Rice TVX 2. Both can be found on YouTube. And hit the notification bell to get alerted to new videos. Also, you can follow me on Odyssey and Library, where I have my full catalog of videos plus extra content. And you can also find Rice TVX on BitChute. If you want to support Rice TVX and what I do directly, I have my PayPal, Cash App, plus my cryptocurrency addresses via my Cointree link below in the video description. You can also join my Patreon channel, where you will get early access to some of my videos, exclusive content, and more, with 4 different levels of membership, all offering something different. If you are looking to purchase and invest in precious metals, gold and silver are both good safe haven assets to hedge against the financial collapse we are experiencing. Check out Money Metals Exchange. I partnered up with them, and you can get a free ½ ounce of silver. Visit moneymetals.com, be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel. I will include links down below.